Well, it's been 20 years since the United Nations Security Council passed Resolution 1325. It's a landmark resolution acknowledging the disproportionate impact of armed conflict on women. It was the first Security Council document that specifically noted the impact of war on women and required parties in conflict to prevent violations of women's rights, including sexual violence, and to support women's involvement in peace talks. Tomorrow in Jerusalem, the group Women Wage Peace is holding a special rally to commemorate that resolution and continue to press for its inclusion in conflict resolution to this day. With us now is Vivian Silver with Women Wage Peace. Vivian, thank you for being with us. Tell us more about the group Women Wage Peace and why it's important 20 years later to have an event and to commemorate what the Security Council did with this resolution.
Okay, happily. Women Wage Peace was founded in the aftermath of the 2014 war in Gaza, Protective Edge. It was the third war that we experienced in a period of 5 years. I am a resident of the area of what they call the Gaza envelope, Kibbutz Be'eri. It was one war too many in too short a time, which sparked responses from all over the country. Women got together, 20 women in a room, and said, what can we do? And what came out of it was the movement, grassroots movement, that has grown to 50,000 members today in Israel.
And what's the call for more female involvement in government bodies in the decision-making process about military action? Or what do you...
We're a one-issue movement, and that is to reach a political agreement that is bilaterally acceptable to both sides, the Palestinians and the Israelis, with the total involvement of women in every stage of negotiations.
Are we seeing that at all? Are they involved in important roles, women, at any stage right now, or is it at the top and not, where do we see it now?
We don't see it, unfortunately. There are more members of Knesset, women members of Knesset now, and members of the government. 8 women are part of the government. However, we just can't seem to break the 22% ratio of women to men, and studies show that you need a minority of 33%, a third of any group, in order for there to be real impact.
This Security Council resolution 1325, did it have an impact on armed conflicts in the last 2 decades? Did we see in the wake of it more female representation and voices?
Well, where women have been part of the negotiations, the peace agreement has lasted longer than any other agreements. In Ireland, for instance, that seemed to be an insolvable conflict. When women got involved and they played a critical role, they reached an agreement, and that agreement is still there. You can look at even the instances of corona, which we spoke about a little earlier.
The war against coronavirus.
War against corona, where there are women prime ministers. Their countries have less corona, or COVID-19 as it's called in the rest of the world.
New Zealand especially.
New Zealand especially, yes, Finland, and other countries. And that's because of their style of leadership. It's not top-down, it's more inclusive. It's more care-based ruling. And therefore, 1325 is critical. Israel was the first country that passed into law Resolution 1325 from the UN Security Council. That was in 2005. Unfortunately, we have not implemented the rules, so that you see all government commissions are almost entirely male.